Hello, ladies. Happy Tuesday. Hi. We've got Miss Beth. Hello, Miss Beth. Oh, Miss Shauna, it is a miracle. Yes, you are in the right place. Aunt Charlotte's here. Hello, ladies. Happy Tuesday. It doesn't feel like a Tuesday for me because I had yesterday off. So it's like, the first day back to school. So it kind of feels like a Monday, but yet it's not a Monday. So it's just been kind of one of those, weird days where you have to keep like reminding yourself it's Tuesday. And even talking to the students, this week when I'd be like, okay, so this is what we're doing this week. And then I would say something like, so then on Wednesday we're doing this and Thursday when I'm like, wait, no. Oh yeah, today's Tuesday. So just keeping track was a little crazy. It is a big win, Shauna. It is a big win. I think that oftentimes, especially women, we don't give ourselves enough credit for what may seem like small accomplishments because it is a big deal. Like we have a lot on our plate, no matter what your specific roles are. I just think women have a lot on their plate, and so we don't give ourselves enough credit. Like when we do, like we make it to the live, or we show up someplace on time, or we remember to do something, or we get everything done on like the to-do list, at least like the small to-do list. You know what I mean? I mean, seriously. And or we beat ourselves up too much when we forget things. Like, I know that there was a live yesterday. I think I'd have to even look at my notes now. I think it was in Creative Founders, and I was so excited, like, oh, it's it's in the middle of the day, in the middle of the day, and normally I can't go, but I've got off on Monday, and I like made myself a note and was like, where do I put it so I won't forget, because I know I'm gonna forget by the time like Monday rolls around. I forgot. I sure did. But it's okay. Like, it's okay. It happens. So yes, it is a big deal that you are here. I always think it's a big deal, though, because I love having you guys here with me. I really do. It helps me get through the week. It really does. Because even, I've told you ladies this, but even the times, because I've been live every single Tuesday except for one. I literally think it's only one. And that was parent-teacher conferences this year, and actually I ended up being sick, so I didn't even attend parent-teacher conferences. So either way, I obviously wasn't doing a live that Tuesday, apparently. The universe was like, it's not happening. I have been live every single Tuesday night, starting out on Instagram, moving to Facebook, and now on Twitch. And there are some Tuesdays. There have been some Tuesdays where I'm like, no, I don't want to go live. And it's not that I don't want to see you guys. It's just, hi, Miss Michelle. It's just because I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm just not feeling it, I'm in, I'm whatever. And, but I always get that, like, usually happens like a little bit earlier in the evening. And so I usually like have enough time, since it's 8 o'clock, I have enough time to then usually like have something to eat and have a little bit of downtime, sometimes more downtime than others. And then I can kind of get myself, but then it's always wonderful. It always makes me feel better. Even the few when I've been a little bit like only on for a little bit because maybe I don't feel good or I have a headache or whatever, and I've been, an hour or less instead of like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And it just always makes me feel really good to connect with all of you ladies, and it helps me get me through my week every time. I understand, Michelle. The last couple of weeks, I've been in this place again where I really just want to veg on the couch and watch TV in the evenings. And it's kind of odd because it's not even like winter, although here it might as well be winter time. Like I ended up putting on a bigger sweatshirt than I had on after work. Like I, was dressed for work and then came home and changed into kind of like some comfy clothes because I was doing some things around the house and then ran some errands with my daughter. And so I was like cozy enough, but since I was moving and doing, and it is 50 degrees out today and the sun was shining, I didn't want to like get overheated. But I sat on the couch eating dinner and watching a show with my daughter, and I had a blanket on, and then I ended up with a cat in my lap. And so then when I got up to like get ready for the live, I was freezing cold because then I had shed all of my layers, my blanket and my cat. And I had been sitting, I had been sitting then for about an hour, just about, maybe a little less than. And so I was like freezing cold. So then I was like, okay, what can I put on? So it's technically spring around here. It's not truly winter. It's a little bit more likely winter when it's like already warm out. And hello, new follower. I beat Hall 98. I am terrible at figuring out what these names are sometimes. But hello, welcome. And yeah, I've been in that mode of just wanting to just like sit on the couch in the evenings and just veg and watch shows. And like starting early, not like as late as, like it's one thing once it's later in the evening, but so I hear ya. It snowed there. Yeah, we had snow on the ground yesterday. Hi, Miss Julie. Hi, Miss Tara. We had snow just a little bit, but we had a little snow on the ground yesterday morning when we woke up. And I thought, really? Like the Easter Bunny leaves and the snow comes? Like, it is just crazy. My husband's their baseball game got canceled last night because of the weather. Not because of snow. Well, actually it was like rain / snow / whatever coming down. And so then he has a doubleheader tonight to make up for it, which just is crazy on a weeknight. But anywho, let's see. Oh, yeah, I understand, Jessica. I understand why Joe would not want to come back this time of year from being in California where it's nice and warm. I know. Julie, I haven't watched your YouTube yet, but I want to. I definitely want to. Working full time just kind of gets in the way of my crafty life, if I have never mentioned that before. And I subbed today, so I subbed during my planning period, so that takes away some time. And then, I have certain classes where I can like give them an assignment and that's all they want to do because they're super quiet. And I have other classes that want to, or I have certain classes with certain students that like just want to engage and talk with me like the whole time. And so if I'm not teaching, I am, like interacting with them and there's no like doing any work, doing anything like that. So that's just kind of how it rolls, which is fine. That's how I like it. So I do want to watch your video, though. Hi, Miss Ramona. Oh, all the friends are coming in. It's so good to see you guys. It is so good. What do I want to tell you about? I feel like there's just a million things, and at the same time, there's like nothing. Like, does that ever make sense? Where it's like, I feel like sometimes there's like so many immediate things, and other times it's more just like I kind of want to chit chat with you guys. Of course, there are still spots for the retreat in July. That's like the big thing. Still spots for the retreat in July, but I know many of you that are on are already coming, and I'm so excited about that. I have been working on that. I will be meeting with the planning committee again. It's a really big undertaking. It just really is. Like, I'm so excited about it, but it's a really big undertaking, which some of you are probably like, duh, Mandy, we know. And some others of you, if you've never planned like a conference or retreat, a large number person thing, some of you might not realize kind of all of the moving pieces. So it is kind of a big undertaking. And I've hit that point where like, as excited as I am and as just thrilled as I am at like the prospect of what it's going to be like, I am just that little bit nervous of like, why doesn't everybody want to come? Like, why isn't it sold out? Why isn't it, a waiting list? Because some other ladies have that happen pretty quickly, like within hours or within days. And so, there's a little bit of that, like, what am I missing? But overall, I'm super excited because it's a great location. We've got great ladies teaching, and there's so many fun things that are going to be done and given out and won, and all the ladies connecting. So it's going to be fabulous. It's going to be fabulous. Hi, Miss Sloan. Everybody's coming out tonight. Oh, good, Shauna. So you know that feeling. I know. And I know, there's all the different things. It could have nothing, some of the things could have nothing to do with me personally, like being the one hosting, and everything to do with the pandemic, finances, the time of year, all of those things. But you can't help but be like, you know, still a little like, you know, I'm sorry, Beth. I know, and I get that. Like, I really, really do. And that's why I also, for me, it's a very tricky balance of like wanting to talk about it and also not wanting it to be the only thing that I talk about, because I've been in that situation where like you want nothing more than to go to whatever it is or be a part of whatever it is. And it genuinely is something completely out of your control that's keeping you from being able to do it. And it's really hard because then it's like, it like, compounds, kind of the fear of missing out type of a thing. So I do get it. I really, really do. And it's not inexpensive. Like, it's not. The retreats are not inexpensive. And then when you factor in travel and then the additional pieces to like the travel, depending, because, if you're flying in, you've got your flight, but then as we've talked about, you've got your rental car because this place is 2 hours from the airport. So, Michelle, we're going to figure it out. We're going to get you covered. Okay? We're going to get you covered. That being said, as much as I love the glamping, and I do, 110%, I have aspirations at some point in the future to host at some other locations that are a little bit smaller locations, so it wouldn't necessarily be as many ladies, but are also in the same price range / a little bit less expensive, and also don't have quite the same travel concern because they're closer to airports and things like that. Or like the one in the Paper Doll House is closer to me and the airport. So I can like, what do I want to say? I can help with like the travel, and that can help sometimes because I get, again, like this is it's a reasonably expensive retreat, and then you add in the travel, especially if you're flying in, because I did that when I went the last time, and then you factor in the rental car and all of the things. So yeah, I think that I think that some of it is the desire is there. So, and like as far as the different events, the desire is there. People want to attend, but at a certain point between cost and even the travel component, as far as like time away from jobs, time away from family, this retreat is at the Glamp Inn, the Lone Star Glamp Inn in Texas, in Round Top, Texas. Yes. Yes, Tara, that's so good. I haven't even looked because, I mentioned some of you ladies were, I think I did this on a Tuesday Night Live when and I mentioned, to my husband, like, oh, do you want me to take your car, or, should I be doing a rental car instead of putting all the mileage on his car, and he was hoping I could take my new car, God bless him. There's no way that me and Katie and all of the stuff that needs to come with me would fit in my new car. So I have been, I want to look and just kind of see what the cost of a rental car would be, just so that I'm not putting all the miles on his car. But I'm really afraid to look because, oh my gosh, like it might be a small fortune after finding out how much it was for you, Miss Tara. Oh, I am going to do some additional retreats again because, and as much as I love the idea of being at the Glamp Inn, it is a huge undertaking having, the ability to have 36 people, which is fantastic and awesome and wonderful. But I also think that, some smaller ones would be also really enjoyable. So don't worry, in the future. But also spaced out because, again, I understand that as much as I can be like, oh, I want to see you guys, most of us I shouldn't say that. Many of us can't afford to go to retreat after retreat after retreat. And I think at a certain point, my husband would be like, seriously, you're never home. You know. I know. No, I need to look now. And part of it's just like, it's kind of on my to-do list, like for this week, so that I can look and even get an idea of if that's even, hello, a new follower. Wow. 2 in one night. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, they switched your flight home? Oh, yikes. I hope that it maybe some of you where your flights have been pushed back, or changed. Maybe they'll shift a little bit as we actually get closer. I don't know. I wonder why that's happening. Because I don't feel like anything like that happened when I booked mine when I went, but it was just before COVID, like literally, because it was the end of March. No, it was the end of February. Like I was home like on March 1st. So yeah. So that is truly why. Oh, fun. Awesome. Okay. Well, you ladies, if you still have stuff about the retreat in the comments, that's fine. But I don't want the whole night. Oh, it's okay, Shauna. It's totally fine. Yeah, it's like if you do it during the live, it notifies, and if you do it, it's fine. And I have tons of Twitch to learn. The only reason I know any little bits of Twitch is actually because my husband watches people on Twitch. Let's see. Gina asked a question. Okay. Did she ask a question about the Twitch? Let's take a peek just in case that's what it is. Oh, okay. I will send her a message. Gotcha. My phone is falling over. So what else do we want to talk about? Let's see. My mind is in a million different places. So I posted in the Mighty Networks group today, which many of you have seen, or some of you have seen, maybe not everybody, but I know that several of you have seen, about Disney. Yes, Michelle. I still have not scrapbooked our family's Disney trip that we took, like when we first took the kids. They weren't like little. They were like 8 and 10, I think, or about that age. I'd have to even look back. And, silly me, of course, was like, I am going to have that trip scrapbooked that summer right after, like we went like in June, and I'm like, I'm going to have it scrapbooked like before I go back to teaching that year. Hilarious. I have not done that trip. And then we went for my 40th birthday. And there again, I thought I'm going to do this one like quick because it was just so wonderful. Yeah, no, haven't done that. And I have tons of Disney supplies. And, I loved the trips and they were wonderful. And it really bothers me that I still haven't documented them, something tangible that I can look at. And so I saw the... Oh, there you go, Michelle. Perfect. I saw the Simple Stories collections that they were going to be releasing. Not much before other people, but I do have a wholesale account with them. And so I was actually on their website for other reasons, looking at some of their lines for some other things I was considering for Pink Crafty Cottage. And then I saw those collections that they have released that are, are specific to the couple different parks, which I think would be cute to add in, especially like to kind of tie together, maybe the different parks in an album. And so I just thought, it would be really awesome to just have some dedicated time to really like focus on doing the Disney trips and to have some encouragement and some support and everything. So, um, oh, bye, Miss Sloan. Beth, you have the last 8 years. Vacations is your favorite. Oh, Robin, I probably not. That's just that I took so many pictures, um, especially our first trip. I mean, there was a lot of pictures from our my birthday trip as well. So I just was thinking, that again, not something where it's like a bunch of classes or a bunch of workshops. Not because those aren't great and those aren't fun, but more just about like kind of getting ourselves prepped for it and kind of being psyched and excited, and then just having that time, together, that we would do, Zooms, and we would just be crafting, and like that's what you'd be working on. Not that like obviously I'm gonna dictate like you can't be working on something else, but at the same time like that's what you'd be working on, and it would just kind of help us to encourage each other, and we'd be sharing we could be sharing pictures of the layouts that we're doing, and we could share ideas for different rides or pages or layouts and things. I'm thinking I would occasionally have like a little bit of a fun theme to something, whether it's like this week we're in this park, so like that way if you want to put on ears or a t-shirt, or or you want to work on those photos, like just those little oh yeah, of course, you can absolutely talk about your proposal. um Michelle, you could document a I wanna be trip, right? um then again, I just thought it just would be, I think, helpful for those of us that's just it. If it's like this carved out space, like this is what we're going to work on, and we do some prep, and then everybody's working on it together, and encouraging and and supporting each other, and inspiring each other with their ideas, and how to use memorabilia or different things. I just thought it would be a lot of fun, but also be kind of a win because it's like something on my list, and I figured it might be on some other ladies' list. And then the added piece was just I could definitely, if there's enough interest, I can put in a wholesale order, and I would do some sort of like bundled discount for you guys, because of course I can't just give it to you wholesale. That's not how that works. I get in a little bit of trouble for that. But could definitely do like a bundle discount to get things. So yes, please tell us about your proposal. I would love to hear about your proposal. So I did put that in Mighty Network. So if you haven't seen that, take a look. I did a little poll to see how many people would be interested. And then, I will follow up to see just how many are interested in like purchasing the collections, because then I would figure out if I'm putting that on my website or just doing like a link to PayPal or just something kind of quick and easy. Let's see. Took her back to the fair where you shared your first kiss year after you met in a less romantic place, a random gas station on outskirts of California. That's awesome. Oh, that's so neat. So you went back to the fair where you shared your first, but you met at oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. That is awesome. Congratulations. That's so exciting. That's an excellent question, Michelle. And actually there's a possibility that I want to do something with, some of the other collections from Simple Stories. So there would just be a little bit of figuring out, simply because when I like, for me to place a wholesale order, it is not just the dollar amount, which is fine because that's it's not American Crafts, people, where it's $1,500. Even though I've had a few moments where I'm like, maybe I should see if we all want to put in an order for some things. It's just that you get like retailer packages. So like the papers, it's like if it's just individual single papers, you get like 25 in the pack. If it's certain things, it's like a quantity of 6, which is not a big deal because depending on what collections it is, again, there's some collections that I'm interested in outside of the Disney ones, and there's probably some other ladies who are interested in some of the other collections as well. So, you could let me know what those are, and I could put that out as well, like who else is interested, just to make sure that, so yeah, that wouldn't be a problem. That wouldn't be a problem at all. So, we could figure that out. On your way to Vegas. Oh, oh my gosh, that's so cute. That is so cute. So, not quite as much of a gas spill or anything as when you met her, but so it was technically the first date that my husband and I were going on. So we had met. It's very funny. We actually met in this house that we live in because my husband grew up in this house, and a mutual friend of ours had talked with my husband, and like we were having like a little like dinner party, and we were ordering pizza and that kind of thing. We weren't like sitting down with like like good china and everything, but we were having like just a little get together. But it was like dinner and getting to know some people, and so that was the first time we met. And then I actually invited him on our first date because I was going with a friend of mine to go see, we both went to Illinois State University, and I was going with a friend of mine to U of I for her boyfriend's birthday party. And so I invited him to go. And so I was driving. And so I had to put gas in the car before we then made the couple-hour trip to U of I. I don't even know how long of a drive it was. Hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't know. But I stopped to get gas. And I got back in the car and was like, oh, smell my finger. Because it smelled like gasoline. And it's just this ongoing joke, like classy. Really, really classy on a first date. So, oh my gosh. So you spilled gas all over yourself. Oh my gosh. But you guys met. And now you're engaged. That's amazing. That's so exciting. And those are the stories you want to document too, right? Like you want to write those down. You want to tell that story, like how you met and the engagement and all the things. That's super cool. Super cool. Absolutely. I love that. Yeah. So depending, Michelle, I may even, just do an offer for, some different collections additionally, because there's some great ones, depending on, the Let's Get Crafty by Kelly Bangs. I know many ladies purchased it through Crafty Destinations already, which is awesome. I myself just I knew I'd probably be placing an order for some different things with the wholesale, so I just kind of waited and had an idea of something that I might like even have Pink Crafty Cottage use that collection for. There's a possibility of something that I was thinking about doing with the Let's Go that's also really cute. So definitely a possibility for that. So we will see. And then if you saw my post from Thursday 3, my brain when it comes to Pink Crafty Cottage has just been like running wild, my creative brain, with just possibilities, not necessarily like all things that would get done. But on the one hand, like there's things that are still finishing up, Winter Memories Workshop and the Joy of Junk Journal making, like those will kind of finish up. Joy of Journaling is just kind of running in the background because it's kind of casual. I'll do some different things with it, but it's kind of running in the background. And it's free content. It's not paid content, so there's a little less pressure as well for me, whereas the other two is paid content, so there's a little bit more of specifications of what's happening. And then really the big focus like right now is the retreat. Like when those things are done, I'm not picking anything up, kicking anything off, for May or June with the retreat, because I will just realistically, I will be busy with lots of prep, both for the actual event itself as well as like prep, as far as like life making sure that everyone's going to be able to function without me for a full week, basically. The things are like cleaned, organized, routine, planned out, purchased, all that kind of stuff. Oh, that's so awesome. Then it was truly meant to be. It was just truly meant to be, and you needed it to happen that way, right? You just needed it to really, really just happen that way so that you weren't like, maybe, just like, oh, she's pretty and nothing. You needed it to happen like that. It was meant to be. That's awesome. That's so awesome. So my creative brain has just been running with, okay, so what do I want to do moving forward? Like, what do I want to do in Pink Crafty Cottage for you ladies? And I've asked previously, and then I even asked on Instagram the other day, and it's a little funny and a little frustrating, and not frustrating like that I'm upset with anyone, but like more just like that so often when I ask, like, what are you looking for? Or like, what would you like to do? Or it's kind of like that's when it's like the silence oftentimes reminds me of when I'm in my classroom and like nobody responds, and you can even see people like, because if you don't make eye contact with the teacher, like she's not going to call on you, of course. So it's just a little hard because a part of me is like, okay, I just need to figure out what it is I want to do, right? What's going to make me happy, bring me joy, and then share it with all of you. And I do feel that way. Like I genuinely do. Like I have to make sure moving forward that the things that I am offering and the things that I'm doing are things that bring me joy, because then that's reflected to all of you, and then it's going to be positive. Like I can't just do things that like other people want that aren't me, or that, because that's not going to work. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That is amazing. Um, so yeah, I have no idea what anyone is looking for. Or maybe maybe you don't know what you're looking for. But my brain has been running wild. So Disney was one of the things, like just doing this, like, kind of Disney, let's get our stuff documented. And that's just kind of like a side thing on the one hand. It's more just about creating the space and the time. So there's that. But then the biggest one that I have thought about, looked at doing different ways, is really doing an album that is like telling the stories about ourselves, but digging a little bit deeper. If you remember, I think it's been 2 years now. Yes, Robin, we are continuing with our junk journal making class this weekend. I will post times. I have to figure that exactly what my timing looks like. There's a possibility of watching my nephew play a lacrosse game because he's going to be right by our house. So just to figure out my timing. But yes, we will be back to that for sure. And yes, and I want to do some more in our Joy of Journals as well, because I want to play some more with all of the cute, fun, fluffy, frilly stuff. So, but I had shared about 2 years ago originally, I had shared my scrapbook and the scrapbook my mother-in-law and I, like, we took a class together, the All About Me. Oh, and I was losing my train of thought. I'm so sorry. My brain is like, we took a class together. My mother-in-law and I took a class at the scrapbook store that used to be right by our house. And it was 12 by 12 layouts, and it was all about me. That's what it was called. It was all about me. And so I really liked that class. But it was all, and I mean, I did regardless, but it was also the first class I ever took, like in person, and it was a great group of ladies, and I learned a lot of techniques. And it was the first time I was really, truly like writing stories about myself and not like just doing, like the kids stuff, or like the family stuff. Um, Yay. That's what I'm trying to do, Julie. I'm really trying. And it's interesting because I've kind of been trying to remind myself and kind of bring myself back to that like I really started Pink Crafty Cottage to have a place for people to, crafty ladies. And it's not that men aren't invited, but so far it's only ladies, crafty ladies to gather so we can encourage each other and connect and create, and so on the one hand, it's like, I know I'm doing that. But I just want to, I also want to make sure that, sometimes I'm doing more. But I also then remind myself that, sometimes I think I started to get a little away from that. Not majorly, but that the focus wasn't quite on that. And then that's a distraction and that can kind of get in the way. And that I don't have to necessarily be like other crafty entrepreneurs, and it doesn't have to be so much about like product slash classes necessarily, and can really keep being the focus of community, and not to criticize those other ladies that are also doing some of those things, but like that I can kind of find my place. So oh, that's neat. A legacy album for your boys. I like that. Awesome. Well, thank you, ladies. I'm happy to hear that a lot of it is that you are looking for, hopefully what I am trying to continue to do is that place to gather and to connect and to create and to have that validation that like you matter and your stories matter and your crafting matters and you should make space for it and all of those kinds of things. Oh, good, you're back. But I loved that class that I took with my mother-in-law for all different reasons. And I've wanted for years, even before Pink Crafty Cottage, I've wanted to like emulate it or replicate it, with some tweaks and things. And I've looked at it a couple different times since Pink Crafty Cottage and like, how do I want to incorporate it? And so I was working on that as well this week because, again, my little brain was just like just running on tons of cylinders. And we had testing last week, so there was a lot of like sitting quietly and having to like monitor students and not be able to like do a ton. But at the same time, my brain didn't stop, so I just had paper in front of me. I was like writing all of the things. So I have come up with a possible idea and kind of a clever like theme way of doing it. So I'm going to think on it a little bit more, and then I'm going to propose it and put it out there and see what you ladies think. Because, yes, and I'm with you, Beth. Like, I'm okay I'm okay with a few things being just for cute or fun, give or take, like, maybe when I'm in that mode too, like if I feel like making like a cute Christmas decoration because the items that I see like have moved me to that, or or because I get an idea of how I could make something that like is what someone loves, but make it in like a decor piece because maybe they don't do paper crafting, so like a journal, like that kind of thing. But I'm with you. There's room for all different kinds of crafts, and those that make beautiful, pretty things just because that's what brings them joy. Oh my gosh, go for it. But for me, I really have hit a place where it's like I want to document stories, our lives, memories, like get that stuff shared, like tell the stories that are happening, the stories that have happened, I want it to really kind of have purpose and have meaning. And that's really what the like all about me kind of style is really having some focus and kind of digging into some of those stories that maybe haven't been told, or maybe they've been kind of told little bits here or there in different places and kind of putting it all together. but also making it manageable, making it something that would be, would have a very clear purpose. And for me, I see that including like me curating, like kind of here's the supplies that we're using overall, just because that helps me a lot of times with projects. I love pulling from my stash for different things, but other projects that can just get in the way if I've got too much stuff to choose from. Whereas if it's like, here's the stuff that I'm using, here's the theme, here's the color palette, just kind of keeps me going. And Charlotte, I love that you love sewing during the Zooms. I love that. Julie, I'm glad you loved, and I love the Zooms as well. For a little while, I really hadn't been doing any just craft along Zooms, and it was just kind of a combination of life / I was doing Zooms, but they went along with workshops, and so it was I was already doing, and then there's only so much time, partly too, even just there's only so much time without taking it away from family, you know what I mean, or time and everything. And so then I hadn't really been doing just the craft along Zooms. And then once I started those again, in the new year, I roughly put out there for the membership, at least once a month, just because I was trying to be really good about not overcommitting anything. And man, I was doing them every single Sunday because I love them. I love being able to hang out and chat and connect and have some designated crafting time. And that's whatever I'm in the mood for. I might get a ton of crafting done that day, or it might just be that I, just work a little bit at something, even if it's that you're just cutting some things out or just, gathering, oh, okay, these go with this photo, but I'm not actually creating any layouts because you're kind of tired, but you're still at least spending some creative time. And so it just keeps your creativity going. So yes. Favorite dishes, curry and lasagna. That sounds interesting. So I'm going to think about it a little bit more, the kind of the one take I have on it, and then put it out there and see what you ladies think, if it's something that enough people would be interested in, because it would definitely take time for me to keep it going. And so I don't necessarily want to put that much in if it's not something that, a lot of people want to do, which is fine. So that's one thing. And then, but at this time I was looking at something kind of monthly, to help keep me focusing on kind of finding joy as well, and or even kind of making my own joy sometimes. Because I've gotten into that place again where, and I feel like it's just a season right now because, I did kick off Pink Crafty Cottage and, kind of just didn't even know what I was doing. And, the just life exploded in that way, with the amount of time and stuff and all the things, in an already not organized, scheduled, routine kind of person's life. And now I'm working on taking that back, getting some control back, by going through my craft room and thinning things out and getting things organized and trying to work towards having a routine and things like that. So, I haven't been decorating for the holidays. I haven't been enjoying all the things for the holidays. For example, there's just things that are not like me to just kind of not do and miss out on. And so I was thinking, it would maybe be helpful for me, but maybe some others would find it helpful. Because I'd like to be doing just documenting my life too, not always with a specific project, but even just the selfies, that I take, and then the random desk photo or cup cozies or whatever, that several ladies just kind of have their own album that's just about them, and they just, whatever pictures or stories they want to tell, they just do. And I've wanted to do that for a while. just kind of casual, but at the same time have some consistency. So then I thought about doing something where it would be monthly. Like, think kind of, not really, but like if you think about like Corey did Lister's Got a List, which was such a cool thing. I don't know how many of you did that. Corey the Reset Girl did Lister's Got a List, and there was a prompt for every day of the month. Like, or well, it wasn't for every day, but like it was, it was like 30 prompts. But it was just to make lists. It was just to do lists. And it was great, and I loved it. Not something that intense as far as like 30 of that. And not necessarily just a list on the one hand, a little bit more documenting, a little less number wise of like not having 30, but more just having like some key things that like every month, like how am I like to help keep me like focusing on positive things, focusing on joy, like, making the effort to like use the cup cozy or, take the photo or look for those things, like look for those stories, look for those, I don't know if I'm making any sense because I'm being kind of vague. But it's an idea. And again, I haven't like totally honed in on exactly what it would look like. But I was just thinking about that because that was something else where I was like, when there's certain things happening, I'm all about like making sure I get the selfie like, every day or at least once a week or, but sometimes then the next thing it's like, oh, have I taken any, what pictures have I taken this week? Have I actually taken any pictures? Have I actually like paid attention to what's happening around me? Like to be able to take photos of the stories that are happening, or even just writing down the stories. Maybe it's not always a photo. Or even like, what have I been creating? And some of it has to do with the season that you're in too. Both my kids are grown, 23 and 20. For all intensive purposes, Kyle doesn't really like live here full time, which is fine. Like it's not not to mention he worked Starbucks, super early morning on Easter. But I not that I couldn't have, because I really could have, even just for some fun. Like, yes, Beth, it would not be everyday prompts. It would be more like just like almost like a couple of category type things, like just to help be focused on those things. Yeah, there would not be everyday prompts. More like, even just those like, what's bringing me joy this month, or what's sparking excitement, or, signs of the season, or I don't even, those are just like things that are coming, but like just a couple, and like sometimes they would change, you know what I mean? There might be some that were kind of just like almost always kind of there. But then some others that might change a little bit seasonally, or like to tell a little different story. There might be, and maybe there would always be one that changed, like to be like one of those, like to tell a little bit deeper story. Even things that would cross over a little bit with like 52 Weeks of Me, let's say, but it would be something like, like maybe like what's on my playlist? You know what I mean? That might just be for that month, whereas in the next month, the one of the prompts might change and be then like, what's in my bag or something like that. Like, so that they would, I don't know if that makes any sense. Cause it's kind of this like rough outline of a thing. So not everyday prompts. And yeah, like some would kind of have some consistency, like just for like what the project was, but then others would kind of change, like a little bit like month to month as far as like to go with the season. But then there might be one that was kind of more of like just about your life in general, like that could happen any given month, and that would, oh good, it makes total sense. Okay, cool. So I could have done Easter baskets for the kids just for fun, but at the same time, good or bad, like that takes energy, which like right now I'm just in that space. I didn't put out Easter decorations. I didn't buy any Easter candy. I didn't do Easter baskets. And, even my daughter and I were like, the Friday, but, on Friday we were like, she's like, what are you going to wear for Easter? I'm like, I don't know. And we didn't have to be dressed up. We were going to my brother-in-law's, like, legit. I could wear, like, I could have worn leggings and a sweatshirt. It wouldn't have mattered. But I knew where she was coming from, myself included. Like, it's always nice to kind of feel nice in some way, shape, or form. And we were going to try to go shopping Saturday, and then we didn't. And so, I just picked a sweatshirt that I liked the color of, at least, and it's newer in my wardrobe, so it's not like I've worn it like the past 7 Easters or anything. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I was like, it'll be fine. I feel like I've gone on a tangent. But so anyway, my point is just, I'm wondering if something like that, low maintenance, like for all of us, but at the same time, just that little bit of support to help us with helping us to like take more photos, watch for more stories to jot down or think, you know what I mean? Just to have those things. I feel like some people are really good at it. Some people are really natural storytellers, and I'm not taking away from their talent, because maybe some have also worked at it. Maybe they have created it as more of a habit, and so now they see the opportunity to take the photos and they write down the stories, and like they've created that. And so that's where I feel like maybe this would help, because it's like I have this desire, but then I get very caught up in just the mundane day to day. I'm tired when I get up, and it's a hustle to get out of the house, and then I get to work, and it's whatever I've got to do at work. And oftentimes it's whatever time in the day, before I'm like, oh, I'd love to see, like, what people may have responded to an Instagram post. Not because I'm worried about like how many people liked it, not that, but more like I put out a question. I'd like to see what the responses were, and I'd like to respond because I want to connect with people. That kind of thing. Or there again, that it's like whatever point during the day, and it's like I haven't taken any photos, and technically it's like, oh, I could have really taken a photo of this or this or this, but I was just so frazzled and just like in the mode of just, so that's why I was kind of thinking about it. Thinking it might be nice to have a little something. I loved Lister's Got a List. Again, 30 prompts every month. I don't need. I obviously didn't do that every month. There were some months I was super successful, and others where it was like, forget it. And focusing on gratitude is nice, but again, like something that like is a little bit more larger story, as opposed to just that. That's great too, but I think you could still be doing that and also do these other things. And just having a little bit of like direction, I think, just, I know it would be helpful for me. So that's the other thing that's on my thought process. So I will put that together a little bit and then put that out there. And there again, deciding, I don't know that that's something that necessarily needs kits or collections to go with it. On the one hand, because a lot of us probably could use stash items. But on the other hand, possibility that there could be like at least a few things to go along, with it, to help us. So that is that. I feel like I went on a very long tangent. Sorry for some of you who maybe took a little nap during that time. This is how my brain has been lately. I am trying to work on all of my current projects, though. I don't know if anybody else feels like 1 minute it's like, okay, I'm just going to do these minimal projects. And then the next thing I know, I'm like, I think I'm doing a lot more projects than I realized. And now I'm like not current on any of them, which is okay. But it's also like a little overwhelming sometimes. I'm behind on 52 Weeks of Me, which is okay, except that I do need to really look at the prompts, because again, when I was on top of the prompts, then I was like being specific about the photos I was taking during the week, if it was something I needed to, to make sure I had photos for. Whereas now it's like I haven't paid any attention to like memorizing what the prompts are for the last couple, and it's been hit or miss if I am taking any selfies during the week or not, other than maybe my Thursday 3. Excuse me, which I don't want to like have that be the only photo that I have every week, is like, oh, your Thursday 3 photo is what you're going to use for everything. You lost your mojo. I did lose my mojo a bit. Like, I still like the project, but once I got a little bit behind and I got to some prompts that like are not as like coming together for me, I would say I have also lost my mojo. Like, I want to continue it. I still like the project, but I haven't like, I was in a real place of like rocking and rolling, and now I'm kind of like, when I work on it, I work on it. I've been working on other projects, so that might be part of it. I was working on then like my like monthly memory keeping, and then I started like the TV movie one, and what else was I working on? Oh, I kind of lost my mojo for 10 on 10 as well. Not intentionally, but I just finished the one for March, and April I was really excited. Well, excited's not the right word. I was looking forward to the prompt that I had chosen, with it being a Sunday and I was doing home. I didn't take 10 photos. I sure didn't, partly because my house is an absolute mess. So even some of the like photos I would have taken, it wasn't about sharing them. It was just about like, I don't want to take a picture. Like, it's that's not what I want to represent, because that doesn't. So, yeah, part of me was like, maybe I'm just done with 10 on 10 for this year. And then I'm like, no, because I have done really well at the same time of like actually documenting them. And it is only once a month. So I'm like, I will, try to finish out this year. But I think it's a one and done. Like, I don't think I'm going to, because I never documented the ones from last year. So I would like to kind of document them. And at the same time, if I don't, I don't. And again, it's a great project. And some people, it's great. But it's just not working for me to do it like all the time. So this year will probably be the only year. And then, like, there's just other things I want to do, I think. Even painting a bedroom and a bathroom. Excuse me. This is the time when I start to get the yawns, because I'm talking a bunch. I've got bright lights aimed at me, and I yawn, and I apologize. It is just what happens. I do understand. Absolutely. I've kind of lost my, which may be, because I know with Easter, and then the one weekend I was sick, and there was something else that fell in there. I'm trying to remember what it was. Anywho, maybe I'll try to encourage that with some of our craft along Zooms, and or maybe even kind of host like, hey, let's work on our 52 weeks of me, you know what I mean? And or let's work on this, just from the standpoint of then we can, maybe kind of get ourselves like, okay, let's gather some stuff. Let's look at some inspiration, and see what other people are doing. Yes, Aunt Charlotte, no, you are absolutely right. And that is true. It's more, some of it's the realization too of like, as much as it's a nice, like some projects, like they sound nice, or you see other people doing them and you like what they're doing, but it doesn't quite fit into your personal space. And that's kind of where I'm at with the 10 on 10. I tried to do it last year and was pretty unsuccessful overall. Like, I had a couple of months where I took good photos, but I didn't actually get them documented, like in, printed and put into a journal. And then this year I have been better about going ahead and making sure I've gotten each one done. I mean, I haven't done April's, which we're still in April, so that's not bad. But it's just one of those where, like, since I have done them already, I'd like to finish them for this year and have like one album of 10 on 10. Like, that's what I did for this year. But I just know for myself, like, I don't need to move on and do it like year after year after year. Yeah, is more the thing. And like 52 weeks of me. This is the second time I'm doing it. Last time I made it probably close to where we're at now, give or take. I made it to about week 13 and then I totally fizzled out. Now, granted, it stopped at about that point of from being like the prompts delivered occasionally, and there was not this quite the same community build around it. And we just, for life reasons for Susanna, we just got the email that then gave us the rest of the prompts. And so it could have been all those different things. So again, like, I really am enjoying it and I want to see this one through. But knowing that, like, okay, if it comes up again for next year, let's say, I don't need to do it again next year. Even though the prompts would be different, I'm sure, you know, I've done it and that'll be enough kind of thing. Whereas I do feel like as I've been able to, you know, now I can look and see like, wow, life really, you know, what is your like day to day one year can be so different the following year. And so I do think I want to do, you know, like, you know, kind of just really documenting, you know, even just me stuff, you know, like, this is what I love wearing currently, and this is the bag I love carrying, and this is the, you know, my favorite snacks, and, you know, this is the music I'm listening to, and these are the shows I'm watching. And because when I stop and think about it, it's like, that has changed year after year after year. The types of shows I'm watching, or the music I'm listening to, or the snacks, or the clothing styles, or the, you know, so keeping up with that kind of stuff, I think. Yes, Tara, thank you. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do April, like, and I'm just going to be honest and be like, you know, however many photos I took. So instead of 10 on 10, be like, meh, you know, April is, you know, 8 on 10 or 7 on 10 or whatever it might be. Like, I'll still do it. And that's okay. Yeah, I'm not going to like totally give up. But it, you know, some of it too is just that reality check. Like, so on the one hand, not beating myself up, like, oh my God, I can't believe it. But more just the like, it's, you know, okay, maybe that project is not like the project for you. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so yeah, I totally get it. Totally get it. I was going to maybe craft with you guys this evening, but I'm not going to lie. I don't really have anything like absolutely ready to craft. I have a lot of things where I'm like at that point where I have to like figure it out. Like, I have to print photos for February. I would have to print the 10 on 10 photos. I have to like, oh, same thing with 52 weeks of me. I feel like there's some other project that we're working on, but I don't know. Now I don't remember at all. It'll come to me at like midnight when I'm supposed to be sleeping. Oh my goodness gracious. So yeah, so if you haven't already, check out the post in Mighty Networks about the Disney thing. And then depending, maybe I'll do a poll or question it, something as far as the other Simple Stories collections, to see what other collections people would be interested in, to see what the numbers look like as far as then placing an order with Simple Stories for those different things. So that's a possibility. Maybe I could do it that way. So long story short, you're going to see lots of things probably in Mighty Networks from me. So hopefully everybody who's on tonight is in the Mighty Networks group. I'm going to have to do a little bit more probably sharing on Instagram and trying to make sure like people that are maybe following me there and seeing things have also made it to the Mighty Networks group, because that's the best. I feel like that's the best place for me to do those kinds of polls and things and questions for like, you know, orders or workshops or classes or events, that kind of thing. Instagram gets kind of hard because sometimes you get a lot of interest, but then the the same people aren't necessarily there when you actually do the things. So that's kind of a disconnect sometimes. So I'll probably focus there. But you're going to see a few more posts coming from me, about like the all about me kind of idea. I'll put a little bit more detail behind that, as well as try to kind of get my thoughts exactly around the like the monthly kind of prompt idea. I wouldn't necessarily, I don't want to call it prompts on the one hand, and I wouldn't want to call it challenge, to think about, because it's kind of like something that falls in between all of the things. So I have to think on that too. Yeah. And none of this would be happening until after July. It's just that knowing that certain things would require like ordering stuff and all of that kind of thing, I would rather work ahead in that respect and be like, okay, these are the things, and so here's we're going to order, and then things are going to arrive, and then I can ship things to people, and we can do like set up in advance, and then when we go to kick anything off, we're like right and ready to go. So part of it is just that my brain has been just running wild. And I know that then I will get busy with the retreat a little bit, and then traveling, and then being, a little tired after the retreat. So it'd be good to kind of have some things in place. Because like even, some of you might be like, seriously, you want to maybe do Disney stuff in August? But at the same time, I feel like if I'm already like, I already have my pictures. Well, okay. Not from my birthday trip, but from my other trip. I already have all the pictures printed and sorted in like a photo thing, and I have tons of Disney stuff. And so it would really just be about like playing with all of the Disney stuff. There wouldn't be like prep in that respect for me majorly. So, and I really think it would, help me too, because I'd be so excited. So, but, I might push that back a little bit too, and maybe we do like September and October. Because maybe August will be like focusing on finishing up, any documenting from like the retreat or vacation in general for everybody. So we'll see. We shall see. So keep your eyes peeled on Mighty Networks, and please be like answering those polls, letting me know what you like, what you want, what you want to see. Don't be afraid to tell me, even if you're like, we already got everything, just host Zooms. That's all I need. Then that's great. Tell me that. Oh, absolutely. You are, Miss Tara, I love you to pieces, but you are gonna need time to decompress, because I love extroverting to a very certain extent, but I did nothing the day I got back and the very next day from the Retro Hip retreat. I was in comfy clothes, and I was on the couch, and that was it. Because it's wonderful, but it's exhausting. And I probably would have taken more time than that had it not been only my second year at my teaching job. And it was like, I didn't want to like take too many like back to back days. And I had to take I took the Thursday and Friday beforehand. Thankfully had the Monday off because it was, what was it? President's Day, Casimir Pulaski Day, something like that. But otherwise, yeah, I would have probably taken another day or two. Yes, you need time afterwards, because as wonderful and amazing as it is, then you need some time. So, all right, ladies, I'm going to call it a night. This was so fun. I'm glad everybody was here hanging out. Hopefully you had a good time. Feel free to message me if you do have ideas, but you don't necessarily want to share them, with everybody. If you're like, hey, what about something like this? Or, hey, I'd love to learn to do this. Or, hey, I'd love to do, let me know. I am really going to focus, though, on just that time together and those Zooms, because I love crafting together and connecting. So that is going to be I'm going to keep bringing myself back to that core focus and, but supporting us, documenting and sharing. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday night. I hope that you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. And I will definitely see some of you, if not all of you, this weekend between Winter Memories and joy of junk journaling, and hopefully we'll do some Zoom craft along on Sunday, and whatever else we decide to do. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, great week, and I will see you guys real soon. Thanks. Bye.